Okay, I am live and here we are. Welcome to tonight's live video. Welcome to my channel. This is my first live on the channel, so I hope that it goes smoothly. I hope you can hear me. At the end of the day, if you can't hear me, then we will just repeat this next week when we have better grasp on the technology. So I am a beginner when it comes to YouTube, so going live. So bear with me and thank you for joining. So here we go. My channel, this is it. This is where we talk about masculine and feminine energy, belly dance, esoteric things, how to thrive in today's crazy world. So I hope you will enjoy it. First of all, the topic that we're going to be covering today is all about femininity yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And it was inspired by a post that I made on Facebook, on my Facebook page. And that post, it was prompted because I realized how, for myself, I had, growing up, felt uncomfortable being a woman, just uncomfortable, like less than. And I also, one lady told me one time, my sister's aunt, she said, "Oh, you're a belly dancer. I've always wanted to try that, because you can just be as feminine as you want to be." And that really kind of stopped me in my tracks because it made me think, like, why can't we always be feminine? Why can't we as women always be as feminine as we want to be? Isn't that kind of who we are? So anyway, I wanted to explore this idea, this question, especially from the standpoint of I'm a belly dancer and my interest in the chakra system, energy on the planet, energy in our bodies, and masculine, feminine energy specifically. So first of all, we will get into that. But in the meantime, right before we launch into that, I did want to introduce myself. My name is Lalith Polite, and I'm a belly dancer, a belly dance teacher, teacher of many things, and a personal coach. I do teach online classes in the Body Soul app. And right now I'm actually offering a 7-day free trial, so you can try it out and see how you like it before committing. And I also teach in-person classes in Fayetteville, Arkansas at the Human Experience through mid to late October. Okay. And then I'm a coach by appointment. So you can sign up for a full 9-week really involved program called Awaken Your Instincts, or you can reach out to me about something you're wanting to work through, and we can talk about how many sessions that could look like. All right, so I enjoy doing all those things, and I wanted to address this topic today. Right. Oh, finally, if you're interested in dance, if you're interested in classes, or coaching or whatever, I'll put the information to find out more in the description box below. And also, I am performing right now. I know a lot of people, entertainers, performers, are not performing due to the COVID situation, but especially if there's an outdoor venue or a party, I do also do that in the local area. All right. So the first thing I wanted to understand was I wanted to know who of my Facebook connections, who felt ever like they were uncomfortable in their femininity, uncomfortable being feminine, and why. Okay, so while this is not a comprehensive list, these are a few reasons why. Okay, so the first reason is being a single mom. So when you're a single mom, you have to play both the roles of the father and the mother. And obviously that's both masculine and the feminine roles. So you don't really get the luxury of allowing yourself to really sink in and feel into that feminine that you are, that you have. So that was number one. Number two, the work world. When we're in, so in order to understand this, there's kind of an obvious way, and there's a not so obvious way to look at the work world. Okay, I'll tell you the obvious. So part of the feminist movement was to allow women to feel empowered to do anything that we wanted. And some of what we wanted, we not being me necessarily because I wasn't alive yet, but women to do whatever they wanted. And one of those things was for women to be able to work in whatever area they wanted, and in order to be able to, earn a similar income for similar quality of work, and that kind of thing. So that was part of the feminist movement. Well, so in doing so, many women entered into the workforce in areas that were commonly dominated by men. So I'll give you some examples. One might be automotive, automotive repair, automotive work, like, tire and lube type place. Or, another example would be, big business, the corporate world. Another example might be, let me just say this. I would say, unless we're looking at teachers or nurses, traditionally feminine or female dominated fields, just about every other job was dominated by men, and that was typically work that they would do. So there's that way you can look at how does work make us uncomfortable being in our femininity. And then there's the other way, which is from an energetic perspective. So the energetic perspective of masculine energy is doing. So masculine energy is the force that achieves and builds and gets things done, and is taking action, and is charging forward and driven and goes like this. Okay, that's masculine energy. And so when a woman goes 8 hours of her day in a masculine energy, okay, so if we're getting work done, and we need masculine energy, we all do. If we're getting work done, if we're producing, if we are, taking action, then we're in a masculine state. Okay. So if we're doing that for 8 hours of our day, then we are kind of setting aside our feminine energy while we're doing that. And so I don't know how many people necessarily knew they were doing this at the time, or that this was happening. So if that add on top of that you're not really aware that that's happening, and you find that you be out of balance really quick. Okay. If you are just doing traditionally masculine work in a masculine state of mind or energy, then you're going to get out of balance if you don't come in and find some way to address the lack of feminine energy that you might be finding once you go home after work, and you've been doing that all day. So that's just another reason that was shared with me of why women don't necessarily feel comfortable being feminine. Okay. Another one, and this is a personal anecdote, is I personally grew up having a hard time. Well, no, I wouldn't say I grew up this way. I'll be honest and say it's my personality. Okay. My personality is one that values myself from the work that I do. So that is not, I'm not saying that's healthy. Okay. But I didn't know I was doing it for many, many years, and it is really hard to go against your personality and say, you know what, your value as a human is not the work you do. It's not equal to the work you do, what you go to work for and get paid for. And I really had a hard time shaking loose of that. And so because of that, I think a lot of women do feel that way, coming up in the last several decades. It was certainly apparent in the media, in Hollywood, and in our culture that you are not, that we should shun being in a feminine role, a traditionally female feminine role, like a housewife or a mother who stays home with her children, or basically those two things. And then also showing emotion. So have you ever cried at work and been embarrassed? Have you ever been told that you don't cry at work? We don't cry at work. Have you ever been told that? Because that is shutting off your emotions, which is traditionally a feminine thing. We tend to be more emotional. Sorry. But anyway, so that putting that value of yourself onto work, which is, like I said, a masculine energy, means you're constantly going to be chasing that work. And that is the most important thing in your life. And so everything else goes to the side. And when that happens, you cannot let yourself relax. You can't, because you're weak if you do. You're not valuable if you're relaxing. You're not valuable if you're not producing. You're not valuable if you're not working in, I don't know, a job that you went to school specifically for. You're not valuable. You did not succeed in life if you can't connect your job to your work or to your degree. And if you can't show that you reached all your career goals as a woman who gets to choose whatever she wants to do. And so in that way, we're constantly striving for the masculine, the work, and valuing ourselves by being in a masculine state, a masculine energy state. And then finally, I'm going to put in a bonus. I'm going to put in a bonus reason of why women feel uncomfortable in their femininity or being feminine. And that is a weakness, that girls are weak. And being girly is weak. And being feminine is weak. And so, of course, who wants to be weak? No, I reject being weak. Okay, we're not weak, but if somebody put it in our heads and we believed it that we were, then certainly we would want to reject being girly. We would want to reject being feminine. Okay, so those are the reasons why being a single mom, being in the work world, are associating our value as a human with our work, and bonus, associating femininity with weakness. Now, I'm going to make a promise to you that I will never come to you with problems and sadness without solutions or things that I think could help. And I do want to be clear that I am not here to share that women are oppressed. I am not here to share that we are victims. I am here to help people understand how masculine and feminine energy works. And I am here to help both men and women to feel confident expressing themselves exactly as they are. Not having to feel uncomfortable with being who you naturally are. Okay? That's really what we're doing here. We are not going poor women. We are not going poor anyone. Okay. So I did need a disclaimer because I am going to be addressing masculinity as well, and how men are finding their way in this world. Even though I'm not a man, I'm in a relationship with one. I'm married, been with my husband for 23 years. So we've certainly learned a lot through our ups and downs, right? So from some of the things I learned based on what we read and based on what I know about energy, I'm going to be sharing some about men too. So this is really about balancing masculine, feminine, understanding those energies. So how to overcome? Okay, number one, accept who you are. So the person, one of the women that shared with me, said that ultimately it took her a while, after she raised her children as a single mom and had to kind of just worry about, being both roles and, surviving all of that. It took her a while, but at the end of the day, she ultimately was able to accept the fact that she likes flowers and the color pink, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I know those are just like little examples, but just finding a way to accept yourself as you are, like there's just so much in that helps you open up to the fact that, hey, you might like feminine things. So big deal. Flowery things. I don't know. Soft things. Pink, makeup, lipstick, whatever. You might like it. It's fine. It's not bad. All right. Now, understanding, that was number one. Accept yourself as you are. Sounds kind of generic, but it's necessary. Okay, understanding that two things can be true at once. All right, so that means as a woman, I can enjoy cooking, which is traditionally feminine activity, and love getting out in nature, camping and hunting, for example. You can do both of those things. Loving one thing doesn't omit the other. It doesn't necessarily cancel out the other. So while we women are so gung-ho about doing masculine things and showing how we can be just as good, that doesn't mean you have to shun the other side. That doesn't mean you have to say, well, if I do these other things, I'm going to be weak, or I'm not a feminist. Interesting story that this video is going a little longer than I had planned, but I like to tell these stories. Interesting story is that when I was engaged to my husband, he said, because he knows I'm an independent woman, he said, now you don't have to take my name. It's completely up to you. I'll leave that up to you. But I just, you don't have to do that. I don't need that from you. And, we're kind of non-traditional. We don't have children, and we were together 15 years before we were engaged. So, I always thought I would not have taken a man's name. Not me. I'm powerful, Miss Independent. And then I was like, really? I literally decided, because he proposed to me on a plane, and I literally decided on that plane that I was going to take his name. And I thought through it, and I thought, why would I not? Like, my husband is not, chauvinist. He's not expecting me to do something or requiring anything of me. And I liked the ring of Lilith Rose Polite. It had a nice ring to it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take his name. And some people said, wow, I can't believe you're taking his name. I mean, that just doesn't even seem like you at all. Or I can't believe that, you just seem so independent, or, a feminist or something like that. And I thought about it and I thought, oh my gosh, am I not pro women anymore? Am I not pro women's rights? Am I not a feminist? And then that's when it hit me that, in my opinion, true feminism is about having the choice, having the ability to choose, not being force fit into one set of activities, one set of duties. And I was like, yeah, I'm good with it. Some people, I know a woman that prefers to cook and clean and raise the kids. That was her preference. And people attacked her. Women attacked her because she wasn't working, or she actually did end up working, but because she liked those roles and her husband liked the traditionally masculine roles in the household. And she literally got attacked and said she was setting women back. People said she was setting women back. And it's just like, oh my God, she has the choice though. It's not like her husband was telling her, oh, you have to do these things and stay in the house, da-da-da. She had a choice. She made a choice. That is the freedom we have as human beings. And that's what we deserved as women, and men deserve it too. We all do. So anyway, I digress. Okay, here we go. Identify where we resist the feminine. So we're talking about solutions. We're talking about how to resolve this resistance to feeling, or this discomfort with feeling feminine and being comfortable with expressing our femininity. So we want to identify where we resist the feminine. And so I'm going to give you a few examples. Do you ever feel like if you tend to your looks, like you're being conceited, or you're just too extra, like you're going too far? Okay, so like if I put on this bright pink lipstick, I don't know that I'm looking down. It doesn't look that bright in this light, but if I put on bright pink lipstick or something, am I trying too hard? Some of the things I've heard people say is like, she's trying too hard. She's taking too long on her makeup. She's worried too much about her looks and all these things. And I used to think it was a virtue to not wear too much makeup. Okay. And then I realized that it's more important to myself and how I feel and what I feel like doing that day. Do I put on lots of makeup every day? No, I don't. But maybe today I wanted to, and maybe tomorrow I won't. But I have that choice. And once I realized it's up to me, and I didn't care anymore. But tending to your looks, enjoying sensual things like fragrances, like salt baths, music, dancing. I remember I used to feel uncomfortable dancing, like it was not appropriate to dance at a dance, or even if it was, then there were only certain dances that were acceptable. Like if you're my age, you might have heard of the safety dance. It's like a step and a touch and a step and a touch or something like that. But there's definitely no swaying the hips and no using that torso. So it's interesting. That is a sensual thing to do, is dance, because you're processing that feeling through your body from the music. And so we resist that, don't we? We feel silly. We resist rest. So the feminine, while the masculine goes, the feminine rests. The feminine rests and breathes. And I'm talking about the energy now. the feminine energy. It's about stepping back, feeling. It's about tapping into the intuition. So are you resisting any of these things? If you are, then we need to explore where the idea that these things were bad came from. So tending to looks, I shared a little bit about the criticisms that you get from that. Enjoying sensual things, I shared a little bit about that. Rest, gosh, it wasn't like 4-5 years ago that I finally started allowing myself rest because of how I valued myself and my work. And it wasn't valuable to be resting. And it's a process, but that's something that we resist because it's seen as weak, right? And who wants to be weak? Do you resist feeling your emotions? That can be hard to process, emotions and pain, but allowing that feeling is something that is important to do to balance yourself out, and that we resist a lot, right? We cover it up. We stay busy. We stay doing things. We stay in the masculine because it's too hard to stop and feel what's really there. And the intuition is the same. It's, we're blocked from our intuition a lot because there's no value in stopping and listening, not as the world sees it. There's no productivity in stopping and listening to our intuition as the world sees it. But it is valuable. And then you have to decide to change it. Whichever one you're resisting, or if there's another thing you're resisting, you've got to change it. But you first have to decide that it's okay to change it. Now, I could tell you how to change it, but I kind of already did with regards to like accepting yourself and, understanding that you have value beyond your work, these kinds of things. But anyway, you want to decide to change those things after you understand why you're resisting them. And why should you change those things? You should change those things to not only first balance out the masculine and feminine within yourself. It doesn't mean make them equal, okay? It means we're full up on masculine energy in the world. I'm not saying that's bad, but when we're out of balance, it's not good. Doesn't matter if we've got too much feminine or too much masculine. We just need some balance. Why? Why do we need balance? Well, the masculine and the feminine energy are the natural forces. And when we balance them, we're in harmony with nature, because nature is in harmony with the masculine and the feminine energy. And while we do not have time to go deeply into that, I promise you in my next video, that will be our topic, is the natural forces of the masculine and feminine energy. Where do these show up and how on our planet? Okay, I'm excited to talk about that with you. And I thank you for joining me. If you would like this video and subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications, I'd appreciate it so much. Can you tell I watch a lot of YouTube? I got that from them. Okay, well, that's all for tonight. And right now I can commit to doing a weekly show. So I'll be back next Monday. And we'll talk about the masculine and feminine forces of nature. And otherwise, once again, my name is Lalith Polite. I'm a belly dancer, a belly dance teacher, and a confidence personal coach. And I love to help people with all these topics that we're talking about. to really, really get comfortable in who they are and feel free to express themselves just as they are. So let me know your questions in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Bye.